Well,
Queen is here.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We have Dami Elebe here with us for a very interesting conversation. She's also known as the Queen of Web Series, which is why Mike says, hey,
Definitely.
the Queen is here. Award-winning scriptwriter and also director. She has quite a... In fact, her CV is long. Let's what?
Can we start? Okay, let's not mention the name.
Which one? Yeah, no, we have
Girls
to.
in Transit. Rumor has it.
Jimeji.
From Lagos with Love. Men's Club. I know a number of you love Men's Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, here she is. Dami Elebe, good to have you here.
You're welcome.
Dami, first of all, I wanted to say you took so long to actually come out of the open to let people know that you were the one who was responsible for most of these great web series that we're watching on TV or on the internet. Why was that so?
I don't know if I'll say it took long. I think what it is writers are not very recognized in Nigeria. I think that's what it is. Because, you know, you have people in front of the camera, you have the directors, you have producers. I think I was still speaking about that this morning, that everybody remembers, you know, the person who acted a role. Nobody remembers the person who wrote the lines.
Who wrote the lines.
You know? Well, you were on radio at that time, so it wasn't like as if you were...
Yeah, so when I started Skinny Girl in Transit and the Men's Club, I was actually still on radio. You know, so that's also another thing. It's like marrying two different people. Like, are you an OAP? Are you a writer? You know, so it was... And because I've been an OAP for what, like 4 or 5 years before, it was easy to still call myself an OAP. But by the time I left, it was easy to focus. Like, you know, I'm a writer and stuff. So it's been something. It's been a new transition, but I mean...
We love the transition. Mike has some very fierce questions.
Just before we go into all over, let's demystify. I love what you're saying now. Now, screenwriters are becoming much more, you know, the people are getting to see them more. Let's talk about the role of a screenwriter in the whole production process. Who gets... does it start from the script writer? Or does the director, is he the one that, you know, gets the scriptwriter? How does the scriptwriter fit into the whole process of production?
Oh, okay. So we are basically foundation. And you know what a house is like without good foundation is zero. Yeah? So what it is usually, okay, this is funny enough. I've never actually created anything from scratch that I've been on. Yeah? So most of the works I have, like the Men's Club, the director, who is also the executive producer at Tola Odensi, he calls me and he's like, yo, so I have a plan for a show. And I'm like, okay, what's it? And he goes, you know, 4 guys in Lagos, you know, this is what the first scene looks like, you know, so what's going on? I just want them to like show, you know, how they're living their life with women, with work, with family, all of that. So I'm the person you give a one-liner to. I take it and I expand. I build a whole world with it. So you don't need to give me the name of anybody. You don't need to give me what they do. You don't need to give me how they are. All you need to tell me is what Tala said. 4 guys living in Lagos. This is what the first scene looks like. You know, hit me. What you got?
So you actually know that we can hold responsible for everything that goes right
Mike,
or
let me...
wait.
Now, I wanted to ask what responsibility the screenwriter has to the audience, because that is the foundation, like you have said. You expand the process and everything. And lately, there has been so much buzz about screenwriting. For the first time, this is actually very good, because people are now looking at the stories and thinking and talking about the people behind it, the screenwriters. I'm going to have to mention a name here. It was all the buzz when Chip Daddy came out and people felt that they were owed a bit something. And the thought of who wrote this, why is the storyline like so and like so? So the question is, are we compromising when we take big names, influencers, and when we throw them into a movie at the expense of the story of the movie? How and where is it going wrong?
Okay, let me put it this way. Now, because it's my industry, I'm not going to like name names or anything. I'm going to say this. You see, if you get your story wrong, you get your scripting wrong. Because you actually, it's a process. You don't just go into script writing. You understand? You have to build the world. You have to build the characters. And one thing a lot of people don't know is characters actually build story. So for instance, if, say, my character Zeno, he's an OAP, but he's very assertive, he's very proud, he's very this, he's very that. If I create a situation and put the character Zeno in it, I have to factor in how Zeno, so basically I've created a human being. I have to factor in how Zeno responds to what I've done. So I can't build story and throw Zeno into it. Zeno has to build my story. So if Zeno is assertive, but then his boss is talking to him and he's cowering behind, that's a terrible way, because I've already built an assertive character. He's supposed to be like, look, this is what I said, that's it.
That's
you know, so one thing I've realized is when a movie is great, people are like, oh my God, actors, director, wow. When a movie is bad, who even wrote this script? When do we get recognized for doing something great? Because now there's a buzz because everybody is talking about this movie is not the greatest, you know, who wrote this, and everybody is trying to look for the writer. But then when other things are great, how many times are we looking for writers?
I would say that in the past few years, I've seen some movies where people talk about great storylines and terrible actors. Especially when we have to do, like you mentioned, influencers. I get somebody who has a followership on social media who doesn't have any iota of knowledge when it comes to acting. But because this person has some great followership, I have a good story, but I want it to reach more people. I want to make more money. As a scriptwriter, do you factor in who would play a particular role while you're writing a script?
Sometimes I do, but it's not my job. I can only suggest. It's not my job. You still have casting directors.
Casting director, definitely.
You still have the person the executive producer can afford and can't afford. And then you also have to, it's a tough, how do I put it? It's a tough balance because people put money into something and they want to get their money back.
I agree.
And being that, one thing we also have to realize is we're actually not a movie watching or a TV watching culture. We lost that when, you know, the other channels who used to do all those shows, you know, at prime time, when they stopped that, we lost the TV watching culture. Because I know that we all grew up watching, like, you know, all those other shows. I don't want to, you know, mention them. But I think what it is now is people are trying to get their money back as best as they can because they see that the regular traditional way to do it isn't working as best. So they pull in the best person they can. But then I feel that if you're going to do that, you have to find a balance. You can't compromise everything to make something.
Especially, and one thing
because you get reviews.
Exactly, and especially when we have a very the world is a global village. People can have access to that movie apart from Nigeria. So you're not only selling to a Nigerian audience.
Mike, talking about that access now, the role of streaming services is also a factor, and it's kind of like what's the word, pressure on people, because now you're trying to reach a wider audience, not just the Nigerian audience. So your stories also have to be something that wider audience can relate to. So are we compromising when, for instance, in the past 2 weeks, when our stories were a bit foreign, the humor was slapstick and fast, Nigerians seemingly couldn't keep up with it? Could that have been an
issue?
Streaming services changing the way we write, the way we act. Yeah.
You know? I don't know if they're changing the way we write or the way we act, because, you know, the reason they came here in the first place is because they were doing something before. I think what it is we as Nigerians need to be very confident in ourselves and our culture and how we want to do things, so we don't tailor what we want to do to fit somebody else. Now, there's always, like I said, there's always a middle ground and compromise in how you do something. So you want to tell a story, but then they're also not just thinking of the Nigerian audience, they're thinking of, you know,
global audience.
Exactly. So you have to remember that the people subscribe to some of these streaming platforms are not as much in Nigeria as they are globally. And even though they want to capture global audience, they still want more people in Nigeria to subscribe based on something they love. So you have to find the balance of doing something they love here that can go outside. And
you think Chief Daddy 2 was trying to fit?
How do I put this? I don't think they were trying to fit. I think that they were trying to do a lot in a small space. Yeah? You see, there are some things that if you want to showcase so much continuity at a go, maybe make it a mini-series. Yeah? Because there were things that happened in Chief Daddy that you could pull out. It was different storylines at the same time.
A lot of storylines.
And the A storyline, the major storyline was lost in the B, C, D, E, F, G, H storylines. So I feel that what they were missing was the major storyline to tie everything together as good as possible.
One ring to rule them all.
Thank you very much. They needed Thanos.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
and you know, they got like Thor and Iron Man, you know.
Yeah, but they didn't give themselves enough time. Like you mentioned, it was a mini-series and you had time to develop these ones.
Exactly, to pull them back. Because, you know, one of the things I feel that plagues us a lot is people have such great ideas, but they're missing a me. To develop.
Plug yourself there, girl!
we'll round up with this. Let's come home a bit. You, what project, what do you have for us? Your fans out there who love what you've done. What are we looking forward to? What do you have in the works? What can we look forward to?
Okay, so we've done 3 seasons of the Men's Club. We've just wrapped up shooting the next season. So that is definitely coming out this year because I know a lot of people have stressed me about when that is coming out. So that's coming out this year. I was the head writer for a Netflix original series. And so that's, I don't know when it's coming out.
You're not telling us the name?
I hope it's coming out this year.
You're not telling us the name?
I believe there was a press release. I believe it's called Far From Home. So
okay.
Spider-Man in it?
No.
No, you should have.
Tell you what we're going to do now. Let's see some of your work. Yeah, you're not going to see her on screen, but she was responsible for this.
Exactly.
And when we get back, we'll be inside the kitchen trying to give you breakfast because we have something very, very delicious that you should have.
Okay.
Yeah, we've made you work so hard coming here, so we have to.
Yes, you have. You have to give me breakfast.
So tell you what, let's see what this is, and we'll be back.
The children are coming home today. Your sister and Afosa arrived, and Kelly arrives tonight.